Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, checking in again from the Scouting Combine in Indianapolis. Later today, John Lynch will speak to the media. I'm sure we'll have some private time, at least just the beat reporters with him. He'll do his stuff at the podium. It'll be 2 p.m. Eastern time, so obviously 11 a.m. Pacific. And probably later in the day, Jennifer and I will tape a podcast, and I'll probably be back here on YouTube to kind of discuss some of the things that he'll talk about, including Deebo Samuel. Yesterday, on Tuesday, we heard how Andrew Berry, the general manager of the Cleveland Browns, responded when, well, actually, he didn't even respond. He was just brought it up. First thing when he got to the podium was the trade request of Myles Garrett. And what Andrew Berry said was that nothing has changed from the Browns standpoint. They're not in the business of giving away good players. He doesn't see a situation where the Browns are better without him. So he says there's no plan for them, the Browns, to trade Myles Garrett. I think for the 49ers, I'm just curious to see exactly what John Lynch will say because Deebo Samuel has requested a trade. 49ers have given him permission to talk to other teams, which tells you right there it's a different situation than what the Browns have going on with Myles Garrett. And obviously, a case can be made, a very strong case. As good as Deebo Samuel has been, the productive player that he's been for most of his time with the 49ers because of his contract situation, 49ers are better off without him because of just freeing up cap space, not necessarily this year, although if they release him, it would be a $5 million cap savings this year. If they trade him, it would be what, 15 more million dollars that they have to account for, with $31 million accounting total in dead money. Also, yesterday, after we taped the podcast and after I taped the video, 49ers officially announced their coaching staff. And the major surprise was that Brian Griese is no longer the quarterbacks coach for the 49ers. That is now Mick Lombardi. And so we'll get a little bit more clarification from John Lynch, but the indications are that Brian Griese, who began coaching, stepping out of the broadcast booth. He was doing Monday Night Football. He stepped out of the broadcast booth 3 years ago. And after his first year as a quarterbacks coach, he contemplated not coming back. He just wanted to kind of dip his toe in the water and see if this was for him. He decided, because of the competitive juices that were flowing, that he would stick with coaching. He ended up doing it for 3 years, and now it appears as if he's decided that it's best for him and his family if he doesn't continue to coach. So we'll get a little bit more clarification on that. But Mick Lombardi takes over. There's Jennifer. Mick Lombardi takes over as the quarterbacks coach. He joined the 49ers staff last year as a senior assistant. Previously, he had been with the 49ers during the Harbaugh era, and then Patriots, Raiders, offensive coordinator there. So he is now the quarterbacks coach. Also, officially, Klay Kubiak becomes offensive coordinator. That was a move that was foreshadowed or just flat out announced 2 days after the season. That's official now. Klay Kubiak, offensive coordinator. And so in order for the 49ers to do those coaching hires officially, they did have to interview minority candidates. And for offensive coordinator, we talked about Noah Pauley in the past from Iowa State. They also interviewed Junior Adams. He was an assistant with the Oregon Ducks. Just got a job recently with the Cowboys. And then for the quarterbacks coach job, which they also had to interview a minority candidate, it was DJ Williams, who is a coach with the Falcons. Those were the main ones. Chris Foerster is now assistant head coach / offensive line. Leonard Hankerson, who's been the wide receivers coach, remains as wide receivers coach, but the added title of passing game specialist that takes over the title that Klay Kubiak had. Gus Bradley, we know that he joined the staff with Robert Saleh coming in. So Gus Bradley is on staff. Brandon Staley is now the defense coordinator of the Saints, but Gus Bradley's official title is the same as Staley had, which is assistant head coach of defense. And I think those are the main ones. John Lynch's son, Jake, becomes a defensive quality control coach. Ronald Blair, who was a defensive lineman for the 49ers. He now becomes special teams quality control. He was an assistant, entry level assistant last year with the 49ers. Um, yeah, those are the main ones. Ray Brown becomes a defensive backs coach and cornerbacks coach. Um, so um, yeah, all the coaching staff situations, all the coaching staff hires announced officially on Tuesday. But again, kind of the headliner is that Brian Griese is not back as quarterbacks coach, and he was getting a lot of credit back in 2022 for helping develop or helping get Brock Purdy ready to step in and look like he belonged and that he was prepared. So a lot of credit went to Brian Griese, for kind of scouting and liking Brock Purdy during that process. Something also that Klay Kubiak was very much involved in, the scouting and the kind of the identifying of Brock Purdy. But yeah, Brian Griese, no longer quarterbacks coach of the 49ers. His job taken by Mick Lombardi, who gets the promotion to quarterbacks coach. And of course, Klay Kubiak, who called plays, by the way, in that final game of the regular season. Klay Kubiak is now officially the offensive coordinator, although his role really doesn't change, or I should say his job duties don't change. It's still Kyle Shanahan's offense. Klay Kubiak very much in a complementary role for that, kind of an auxiliary role. But he helps with the game planning and just getting things set up with the offense on a game plan to game plan, a week to week basis. So those are the updates from the 49ers here from the scouting combine in Indianapolis. Like I said, later in the day, John Lynch will address the media, and we'll have plenty of updates, I'm sure, on Deebo Samuel, the coaching staff, Brock Purdy's situation, although I don't expect him to say much there. But anything he has to say that's noteworthy, we'll be bringing it to you later. In the meantime, thanks for tuning in. If you haven't already, please subscribe, leave a comment, a like, and that is it for now.